Hi guys, it is April from Getting Hygge with It. Today I am sharing with you the best books that I read this fall. So let's get into it. Now, usually I have a top 5 books that I read in any given season. I only have 4. I'm not dilly-dallying around. I'm not gonna share something if I only gave it 3 stars. You know what I mean? So these are the best books that I read this fall. Naturally, because I'm a new mama, my reading consumption has slightly diminished a little bit in terms of quantity, but also I struggled with my reading this fall. Anyway, I did read some really good stuff. Most of them are thrillers. We're gonna start with the historical fiction instead of the thrillers. So, diving right in, The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas by John Boyne. I absolutely loved this book. This book will tear you apart, tear you to pieces emotionally. I don't know if I cried or not. I think I had watched the movie many years ago and I didn't remember a lot of it, but I knew the ending. And the ending is really gonna hit you hard if you haven't watched the movie or read the book. All that to say, this book is about a young boy named Bruno. His family moved to Auschwitz because his father is in charge of Auschwitz. Obviously, World War II story. He doesn't understand what Auschwitz is. He just sees a group of people far-ish away from his house and sees that they're all in striped pajamas, and he moseys on over one day when he's curious and meets a little boy there who's exactly his age, and actually I think they share the same birthday. They become fast friends, and it is about their sad story. It was beautifully written. I liked, at the end, there's a little interview with John Boyne, and it talks about how, yes, this is not entirely historically accurate. You wouldn't have a house just hanging out where it's so close to Auschwitz. So there's a lot of stuff that isn't historically accurate, but he talks about it about how it's a bit more of a fable than anything else. The other thing that I loved about this book is its importance. It says that fences like this exist all over the world. We hope you never have to encounter one. And it's one of those timeless books because of that. It can be picked up and placed in so many places around the world. I just loved every second of reading this. One thing I do have to say about this that I found kind of surprising is you don't meet his friend for quite a while. I want to say it was about 100 pages in, and this is 200 pages long. I was kind of surprised by that. I think when I had watched the movie, you meet his friend very early on. I think that if you liked The Book Thief, you might like this. So, definitely loved The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas. Gave it 5 stars because wow. And now we are moving into thrillers. This one I gave 4 stars. Very fun thriller. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This is about a woman who seemingly has a happy marriage, and this sounds like every other thriller in the world. She shoots her husband 5 times in the face and then stops talking. And we meet a psychotherapist who wants to get to the bottom of what happened, why she killed her husband. And he actually takes this job just so that he can spend time with her and divulge this information from her. And does she talk or does she not talk? How does he find out what happened in the end? I really enjoyed this book. It wasn't like my all-time favorite thriller, but it was definitely a thriller that I just kept flipping the pages. I could not put this down. So easy to read. I think in part because the chapters are super short. Like sometimes they are 2 or 3 pages short. And there's something about that when a book is structured like that, especially a thriller, you have to read it quickly. There's something about that just makes you flip the pages. It was a lot of fun. I didn't guess the twist at the end, which I enjoyed. Yeah, so much fun. I definitely would recommend The Silent Patient. Another book that I loved and made me so happy because I now have a new favorite thriller writer. That is Alice Feeney's Sometimes I Lie. This is about a woman who is in a coma. She is aware of her surroundings, and she's aware that her husband and also her sister are there in the room with her, and she's terrified because she believes one of them is responsible for her being in the coma in the first place. And you follow her in the coma, having the surroundings. You follow her days leading up to being put into the coma. And then you also read childhood diary entries, which are so much fun. That's something that Alice Feeney does that I don't know any other thriller writers that do. Is she dives into childhood and wraps childhood into this current storyline, and it's just so good. After this, I read her other book. What in the world is it called? I Know Who You Are. I think that's what it's called. I didn't love that one nearly as much as this. I gave this 5 stars. I gave that 3 stars. It was still good, but it wasn't this. This was like filled with twists and turns. Like constantly, it felt like you were learning something new, and her childhood and the stuff that goes on in her childhood. Oh my goodness. So twisty-turny. I loved it. I loved this book. I will read anything that Alice Feeney writes. She's coming out with a new one in 2020 that I will be reading. I'm going to be coming out with a video about the books I'm excited for 2020. Either in December or maybe early January. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But yes, I will read anything by Alice Feeney. She has, it's not gritty writing, I wouldn't say, but her characters are very fleshed out the way that you would find in a Karen Slaughter or a Gillian Flynn. And that is why I love her so much. So yeah, highly recommend Sometimes I Lie, which was a shocker to me. I didn't expect to love that one the way that I loved it. And then I read, this is a reread for me, it's Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I feel like everyone has read Gone Girl, but if you haven't, this follows a couple, Amy and Nick, and Amy goes missing and all eyes point to Nick. And you're flipping back and forth between Nick finding out that Amy is missing and dealing with that and dealing with the media scrutiny. The police are after him. And then you flip to Amy's diary entries. Lots of diaries in this. Anyway, you flip to Amy's diary entries and you kind of start to unravel things from there. What I love about this book is you start reading this book and think you're reading one book and you find out you're reading another book. And so many twists and turns in this one as well. What I love most about this book, I think, is that I laughed the whole way through it because I love Amy that much. I think she might be my favorite character of all time. I loved it. Loved rereading it. And this book inspired me to do a whole video about thrillers that I'd like to reread because I loved rereading this so much, and thrillers are just not something that you pick up and reread a lot. At least I don't. Maybe you do. Let me know in the comments below if you do, but I really don't. I never think to do that. And then I reread this and I was like, ooh, there are several that I would like to reread. Yeah, so good. that video is going to be coming out in Vlogmas. So yeah, that was the last book in fall that I read that I just freaking loved. Those are them. Let me know in the comments below what the best book that you read in fall was. I would love to know what that is for you. And I will talk with you soon. Bye guys!